Café Anyway. It's Mike Matthews. How are you today? Okay.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2825.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2825. Mike Matthews here. It's great. Been wonderful time with you doing this podcast and bringing all kinds of news and stuff from the land of Rootabega, where people are dancing and going and saying wah, 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 because they're shaggy. And it's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. And
Mike's
today,
Daily
I thought
Podcast.
I would mention that in this world of podcasting, there are lots of people that try. There are lots of people that abandon podcasts because they give it a go. And then for somebody like me that never appeared on a TV show, never appeared in a movie, never was a celebrity in sports or anything else, a minor celebrity doing the Ventura County radio thing for 11 years, had a bit of a following doing a nighttime show, but no, nothing. So all these people that, and I'm not young, and I don't have a million piercings, and my gender's not fluid, and all this other stuff. And I'm not a raging conservative or laugh out loud liberal, nothing like that. Nothing. So who's going to listen to me? Well, there are people that get famous because, this lady got famous because of TV and because of the guy she married, Meghan Markle. She is pushing her podcast towards women, following the Duchess's bitter fallout with Spotify. She is a Duchess, so that makes her famous. That makes her someone that would, I'm just trying to be a supporter of podcasting, and it's very difficult to do when I go looking.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And what gets pushed to me is pap. They're not podcasts, they're papcasts. Hey, that's a picture of the beautiful Sycamore Grove in Livermore. See that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. Took that about a weekend ago. Oh, what a beautiful place. And it wasn't that packed. It was a beautiful day. We've just been having amazing weather in California lately. I used to take the late great Basil the Boxer there. Oh, I had not really been there. Yeah, I had not been there since I'd been with Basil. So, thinking of him. And the cool places that I go to, I try to keep going to. And that day, I was actually walking a friend of mine's dog. So that was very cool.
It's pretty interesting.
To help other people with their dog walking, because you need to walk your dog. Now, Meghan Markle basically grew up in the same area of Southern California that I did. And I watched a little bit of their story on Netflix.
Which is a very good thing. Which is a very, very good thing.
You think Netflix is a very good thing? Okay. His opinion on stuff has been flipping lately. Like, he used to hate TikTok, and now he's, it's okay. I really hate Mark Zuckerberg, so I'm more for TikTok. So Meghan Markle is pushing her podcast toward women following her bitter fallout with Spotify.
Mike, it's Mikey Fikey. Great.
That's what I am. The Duchess of Sussex announced a new podcast deal with Lemonada Media earlier this year following her and Harry's split from Spotify. They had a $15 million deal with Spotify.
That's a nightmare of a show.
And this podcast, this Nightmare of a Show podcast, is on Spotify as well. Maybe you're listening to me there. And all the places, and the podcast picture, all the places you can listen to this podcast, you can find at mikesdailypodcast.com. But it collapsed after...
Everybody make some noise!
Oh, what? What is this person yelling about?
Live!
What are you yelling?
From...
Please, there's no need to yell. Just stay calm.
Podcaster Valley Mont!
That's where we are.
Mike's Daily Podcast!
Podcaster Valleyton. Swanton. The Duchess is in the company of fellow American actresses Julie Louis-Dreyfus and Sarah Silverman. They have their own podcast with the American network called Lemonada. And apparently the deal with Spotify collapsed very shortly. I guess they did a new series. Now this, after one series, it says, I don't know exactly
What's the cliche of the week?
if that means one episode,
What's the cliche of the week?
or if they did a year of it. I don't know.
What's the cliche of the week?
Not sure. I can't really tell you.
What's the cliche of the week?
So she is going to, who we don't know who she's going to speak with on her new series. Because basically podcasts are interview shows now. There's very seldom someone like me just sitting here talking to you at a Café Anyway.
What's the cliche of the week?
Talking about the cliche of the week.
What's the cliche of the week?
And what is the cliche of the week?
What's the cliche of the week?
And that would be,
What's the cliche of the week?
I don't know. There it is. That's it. I don't know. People say I don't know too much. They should know. So, no word though on who she's going to interview. She has hosted celebrities like Mariah Carey, Mindy Kaling, and Pamela Adlon. Oh, there's a little music for you. Speaking of Mariah Carey, what the heck happened to Mariah Carey? She sure changed a lot. When I listened to her first album in 1990, wow, she has changed a lot. But that's probably why she's remained successful all this time.
Ridiculous, random.
I mean, well, and then all of our bodies change the older we get. Unless you just retain your roundness a little bit better the older you get. Unless you're starving yourself, that's not good. Not being overly large, not good either. If you're not doing enough walking, got to get out there and walk. Walking's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing.
The Newsbleed section.
So a little bit back to the news. Back with the news. The royal historian Marlene Koenig spoke exclusively to explain what Meghan's new streaming platform will look like. She said, from what I read, Lemonada is a woman-owned, woman-supported podcast company. It's not Spotify, but unlike Spotify, she'll be able to relaunch her Archewell podcasts on all these other platforms.
Might rip someone a new one.
Which I'm assuming will be Apple, Amazon, etc., said this royal historian Marlene Koenig. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. The market is pushing it toward women, and this has been the Duchess of Sussex primary thing. Okay. Am I going to rip someone a new one? She had Meghan done some stuff on
the mic tip.
Netflix, as you probably know. That's my tip there. I started watching it, the story of her and Harry, and when it got into the whole tabloid thing, I lost interest. But that's my rip. Oh, and Netflix has nothing to watch. That's my other rip. But apparently they're trying to get you to watch it because they're streaming the NFL games on Christmas Day. Netflix has an earlier Christmas gift for you, but it won't fit under the tree. They will be the home of the NFL's 2 Christmas Day marquee games. Do they play text? I didn't know that.
Encyclopedia Insanika.
This is an Insanika that I'm looking into here, because I didn't know that they play football on Christmas Day. I'm usually working on Christmas Day. I don't know what sports stuff is happening.
Well, I like
The Whiny White Man Wine List.
Oh, it's time to whine, is it? Well, the whining that I have for you primarily has to do with the way I hear people criticizing the president, whatever president it is, but now this president.
Mike's absolutely useless review.
Okay, my review on them and my whiny white man white list combining to that bit is that they always say, so Biden says, I'm not going to give these weapons to Israel because I don't want them doing these things where they're killing people, etc. Meanwhile, you got the Republicans saying, we don't want to give weapons to Ukraine because they're going to lose anyway. What? These politicians are nuts. And then the reasoning rather that they use is, oh, well, you know, that politician saying that and doing that with that country, that just shows to those other countries
Live and loco.
that we're live and loco and that we don't have leadership in the rest of the world. America is lacking leadership in the rest of the world. Every time I hear a politician say that, I'm thinking, oh, you're just pulling that out because it doesn't mean anything anymore, because every politician idiot like you for decades and decades and decades has pulled that out, that we're losing American leadership in the world. And who are you? Have you gone through every single country and examined them psychologically?
Mike's Daily Podcast Master Pod Eater.
And done a poll with them? And this is my theater. It is the presentation to you called My Poll of Other Countries. Phrasing. The poll. Excuse me, sir. May I poll you? Phrasing. May I ask you questions in a survey type fashion? That's better. Answer these questions for me.
Scavenger hunt.
And then I've looked for the answer. So Netflix is doing all these things. Then there's the chatty artificial intelligence coming to you from the tech world. OpenAI rolled out a fresh iteration, ChatGPT. Yes. And Google is adding AI to your search experience.
Matthew's News.
That's my news to you. You'll see Google search enhanced with AI features. And chicken is the new beef. That is a thing these days, becoming the crown jewel of fast food menus. McDonald's, Burger King, Shake Shack, Chipotle chains are pushing chicken as the cheaper protein. It's easier for consumers' wallets, aligns with healthier eating trends, and allows companies more room for innovation. McDonald's chicken nugget sales get about $10 billion and are growing at a rate of more than 10% annually since 2018, going up 10% every single year since 2019. It gets more and more popular, the chicken nuggets, and it was popular back when I was a kid. So, chicken. But you know what? Have you ever met a chicken? They're kind of cute. They're really cool. And maybe they can make good house pets.
News Random.
My random news there. As Dana Carvey once claimed in a very un-PC, un-woke skit that he did on Saturday Night Live years ago, he probably wants that scraped under the rug. But you know what? He's making how many billions of dollars doing podcasts these days? He's being paid a huge chunk of change. Him and the guy, David Spade, for their podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the streaming spectrum, you've got Prime Video, and they have an upcoming game show called Pop Culture Jeopardy! It will focus on music, film, TV, stage, sports, and more. And that is something I will not waste my time with, even though I'd probably win every game. I've got no time to play games. Quit playing games with my heart. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Oh! Which is kind of like a little Disneyland out here. And did you know that Disneyland performers that do the amazing, some of them, you know, when you got the one that's dressed like Cinderella, it's supposed to be Cinderella, many times, or one of these Marvel superheroes, you're like, what? They look just like them. Well, now they are going to they are going to unionize following a 3-day voting that culminated recently. The Actors Equity Association labor union said that cast members for the parades and character departments at Disney's theme parks That would be the ones in LA or near LA, in Anaheim actually, Disneyland and Disney California, voted by a wide margin for the union to become the bargaining agent for the group of roughly 1,700 workers. An association website tracking the balloting among cast members indicated passage by 78.7%, saying they wanted it. So we'll see with that. Hey, you're in California, folks. This is where everybody's apparently able to get a raise and nobody has to pay the piper at the end. Okay. That's good to know. It's not true. Someone's going to have to pay the piper in the end. But that just means they'll have to raise costs going into Disneyland probably. But right now, the cost to go into Disneyland right now is insane, so I don't know what the difference is. But here we are with some people. Let's meet them, shall we? Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I'm my horse doing. Oh, and you know, over the weekend, there was the big Castro Valley Rodeo, the Raoul Rodeo going on. And I noticed, because I drove past it on 580, that they instead of having that huge flag that stops traffic and causes accidents that they hang from a crane, they got the same crane, but a normal size flag. I bet somebody got into an accident on 580 and blamed and sued the Raoul Rodeo grounds for that. I mean, that flag was insanely huge, but now it's normal size. Look who else is here.
Hey, it's Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
I think that's a total travesty that they've taken down that enormous flag because it was big, it was huge, it was the size of a house, and it was really cool to see from the freeway as I smashed into the person in front of me.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, and to calm you down after that horrible incident, look who it is pouring us a root beer.
Oh, man, can I make delicious root beer Hester right now?
Wow, you blew out the microphone just then. Thank you. Let me try some of that. Oh, that's good. What's in that?
Peanut butter.
What? Peanut butter and root beer? That doesn't make sense.
Drink right now, okay?
You know, yesterday, I'm at this area that's like a barbecue area, and they got an outdoor area. And they're having this thing where there's a bunch of people there. Apparently, they all decided to sit outside, and they're having a party, and they've got their kids. And of course, whenever you got a bunch of adults with their kids, the kids they get bored after a while. They eat and they get bored. They got all this energy. They're constantly burning energy. They got to do stuff. So they're running around. There's not a very large area for them to run around. There's a busy street right next door. But the kids are running around. One kid fell off a little thing that was about not even 2 feet high, and he hit the ground. He starts crying, and the parents they just hang around and linger while these kids are going insane. It makes me think, what? Just go to a park. Go to a nice park with some grass. Let the kids run around in the grass. Give them an actual activity. To them, that is the most boring thing. The parents just sitting there talking and yapping and fat and full of food and just blah, blah, I don't want to move, blah, blah. And then they start pontificating like I'm doing right now. You know what? Let's change everything now here at Café Anyway and go back in time. Shall we?
Let's go back with Matthews.
Ice cassette copy.
That Billy Joel song that he put out recently is still hanging on the charts there. The Turn the Lights Back On song. It sounds like in that song that some husband is not paying enough attention to their wife and it's time to turn the lights back on. So this is not anything about that. It is, I don't know if we're going to hear a Billy Joel song. We might. But I started radio in 1986, and over the years I got to work at a couple radio stations that no longer exist and a couple formats that no longer exist. This one kind of still exists today, that format where you're playing a huge swath of music from a whole bunch of different time periods. We played everything from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s on this station. It was called The Bus. It's no longer around. It is now a Spanish music station. I think they play traditional Spanish or love songs or some Spanish love songs, maybe. I don't know what it is, but it's been around ever since this station went off the air, which I think was in the early 2000s or the late 90s. But this is all the way back to 1992. Yours truly was in his early to mid 20s. And here's a little bit of the station as we go back with Matthews.
I hear they make a good toast at the Sunset Grill. Did you hear that? More Than Oldies, The Bus, 96.7. Mike Matthews with you. It is a winter's day, isn't it? Yeah, go ahead and sing about it.
A winter's day.
Oh my God!
The bottom of the chart.
Pretty good songs that never made it on the radio because people didn't think they were worth. But you know what? They come back up and people start playing them, and it's like, where'd that come from?
The Bus 96.7 wants you to stick it and win. Listen for bus sticker locations. You can be our next winner. You could pick up all kinds of great prizes like men's watches, bikes from Cycle Scene, gold earrings, passes to Mountain High, and so much more from the bus.
Oh, Rolling Stone.
You know, there's an absolutely rad rainbow outside right now if you take a look. Rain coming down on the Bus 96.7. We're coming to your emotional rescue with the Rolling Stones. My name is Mike Matthews, and it's almost 5 o'clock. What does 5 o'clock mean? Absolutely nothing on a Saturday. Who gets off at 5 o'clock? Not me, not you, so why do I bring it up? Because we've got Bonnie Raitt and the Walker Brothers right after this.
Stop! That radio station, the studio, had a beautiful view. It was, we were right next to a farm field. This big field. I think they were growing strawberries. Lots of strawberries get grown in Ventura, Oxnard, that whole thing. We were really close to the Oxnard border. Yeah, I remember that. Great, just looking out over that view. And I wasn't there too terribly long. I think I was there maybe 2 or 3 years. But a couple of people that I worked with there had been there much, much longer. And the station had changed formats over the years. It had been 50s, played only 50s music, 50s, 60s. And then eventually they stretched it out to include all those other decades. So one more little bit from that
KXBS Santa Paula Ventura, The Bus 96.7. Okay, it's More Than Oldies, The Bus 96.7. It's a Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here, and we're happy to be with you because we're suspicious of you. It's Terry Stafford's Suspicion on More Than Oldies, The Bus 96.7. Oh.
Every time you...
Wow.
More Than Oldies, The Bus 96.7.
I see, and then we were playing the Pretenders.
More Than Oldies, The Bus 96.7. Roy Orbison with a song that was produced by the lead singer from ELO, Jeff Lynne. You got it. Mike Matthews here, and it's a Saturday, just about a Saturday evening. Sure is dark out there. Why don't you join us? Join us tomorrow for, it's not Monday Night Football, it's Sunday afternoon football. It's postseason football. It's Dallas Cowboys taking on the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to be at the Holiday Inn Ventura Beach Resort at 1 o'clock. How do you get there? 101 to California Street, exit Ventura. It's San Francisco 49ers taking on the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow.
Ventura is how I used to say that. So that's right. We would play quite a few interesting different songs on that station, different groups. And a lot of stuff you don't even hear on the radio anymore. You have to go deep into the streaming world to find it. And that's another thing. It's hard to find cool, good, new podcasts that aren't being hosted by some celebrity of some sort, that are just being hosted by normal people. It's hard to find streaming stations that don't play the same stuff you hear over and over again, the same pop stuff that all the other radio stations, your terrestrial stations that you pick up on your car antenna are playing. So I invite you to go on your Mike scavenger hunt, your own little Mike scavenger hunt, and look through your Mikelopedia in Seneca and try and find cool new podcasts, cool new stations that are different from the usual. So a little bit beyond the normal. And now we go a little bit further back in time, now to the 80s, and yours truly is super, super young. Zoinks! I'm in my early 20s here. Let's see. I broke it.
DY Santa Barbara. Here's the latest from the Art of Noise and Kiss.
Oh my gosh, the Tom Jones Art of Noise. Dang, this is really far back. Is this might have been even 88.
Don't have to be.
KHTY 197, good morning at 6:04. Hello, I'm Mike Matthews. And we're working on a 30-minute power play on this Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be a great Sunday. I don't know who's going to win, but who knows, you know? Somebody's going to win, and they're going to make lots of money. And Cheap Trick Ghost Town 197. I want to stop talking.
Will the streets? It was early. It was, oh gosh, I remember that shift. I was on the air from 6 to 6:30. That's it. Just a half hour. And I played 5 or 6 songs. Sheena Easton there, Cheap Trick there. 2 songs you don't hear anywhere. But oh my, Ghost Town by Cheap Trick. You never hear that. Or talk about The Lover and Me by Sheena Easton. Never hear that anywhere anymore. But yeah, it was really, really early. Got up at 4. Drove from where I was living with Mom in Oxnard up the coast. A beautiful drive, but in the dark, basically. And then got there in time to do that shift. Oh. And then after that, during that shift, I'd just be on from 6 to 6:30, and then I'd play back this tape of some local guy named Tom Carroll, who used to interview local celebrities in Santa Barbara. This was at a Santa Barbara station, Y97, that no longer exists. And there was then after that, we did this 1-hour show where we played, it was, I think, new music something, or was the Adam Curry before he got huge into the podcasting world, and his No Agenda show, which I admit I listened to. But he had, I think, a 1-hour music show that would get played on the radio. And then at 8 o'clock, we'd start Casey Kasem, an American Top 40. And I did that for a while. In fact, Casey, during that time, gave up the show and handed it over to Shadow Stevens. And then Casey started his own countdown called Casey's Countdown, which you don't hear that anymore. They'll play the American Top 40 old shows that he used to do. But the other one he did in the late 80s, I think it was 89 through the 90s, you don't hear that. I haven't heard it anywhere. And anybody that tries to post them on YouTube, they have to take it down because of copyright reasons. One more little bit from 1989-ish.
KHTY 197, and that's Annie Lennox and Al Green. Put a little love in your heart. Casey Kasem is back today at 8 o'clock with Casey's Top 40. He's not replacing Shadow Stevens, though. Shadow Stevens still has his own show. But it's going to be back today at 8 o'clock. Here's White Line 197.
Ah, that explains that then. Okay, there. Mike Matthews from the late 80s just explained that. So that was around 1989. Because Casey gave it up in 88. So now we jump forward about 20 years almost to the 2000s, and I'm working at K-Hay at the 11-year what was it, the 11-year residency that I did at K-Hay, doing the K-Hay Santa Fe Cafe and a little bit of that crazy show.
Setting with lots of food, music, and raffle prize drawings. It's the 2002 Business Expo Trade Show happening next Thursday from 5 to 8, sponsored by 100.7 KHAY. Let's mosey on out here. Hey, Felix.
Yeah, where to, Matt?
Take us by Matt Bus to the cafe, please.
We're going to arrive early tonight. I gotta pee.
Oh, then we'll be there really quick. We'll seem like. Roadrunner Shuttle. When you need transportation for any kind of event, just pick up the phone and call Roadrunner Shuttle at 389-8196.
See the Ford man at Simi Valley Ford for the
Welcome to the Santa Fe Cafe.
Thank you, Joe.
100.7 KHAY Ventura.
Patty Loveless coming up. Dixie Chicks to White Yoakum, Lone Star, and right now, a request. The Santa Fe Cafe Country Cantina. Want John Michael Montgomery?
Yes. The dance.
Life's a dance.
Yes. Whatever.
John Michael Montgomery does Life's a Dance. Garth does the dance.
Yeah. It kind of sounds similar.
They do?
Yeah. Well, you know, dance. Have the same word in there.
All right. Well, you wanted John Michael Montgomery.
Yes, and this is Josh, by the way.
Dog!
It is Dwight Yoakam on 100.7 KHAY at the KH Santa Fe Cafe. Now, Carolyn Dawn Johnson with One Day Closer to You. It's 100.7 KHAY. I'm Matt Michaels. The KH Cafe question: what is the craziest Friday that you ever had? I think this one could probably go in the record books.
The craziest Friday I ever had was the Friday before I got married to Marge.
No way.
Yeah, tell them about it, Marge.
Oh, I remember. I was completely drunk.
Oh, well, I don't really remember it either.
Well, that's an interesting story. I'm sure I can catch all the details on Fox. Sir, on the phone, make sure to go out on a date this Labor Day weekend, okay?
Oh, I will.
Good. You deserve it. You should go out.
Oh, I will.
Leanne Rhymes, The Light in Your Eyes, KHAY. Oh, Leanne Rhymes. Yes, that was some crazy times, some crazy radio. Some fun times there. Thanks for going back in time with me and going back with Matthews. Now it's time for the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud. So we played you some old stuff. Now some brand new stuff. This was just emailed to me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And this is a singer-songwriter by the name of Billy ZZ. Searches for the memory of lost love in the melodic A Picture of a Picture. She's from Edmonton, Canada, sharing her first new music since 2016. Hear a little bit of this song now, A Picture of a Picture. Yeah. Ooh, la la la. Billy ZZ, there she is, you see. A Picture of a Picture. Did you like that song? Who needs lyrics? Anyway, let's see. Then we got the Café Anyway. Oh, this is going to be dancey, because anything I get from the Turnt record label, Turnt, if that's how you pronounce it, is always going to sound very dancey. Okay, German hit creator Mark Bale is returning to Don Diablo's Hexagon imprint for an official follow-up to his viral record, Make It Hot. Together with fellow German talent Noel Holler and Taipei-based DJ Alicia, the three global superstars give way to an energetic and old-school sounding tech house heater titled Let Me Go. Let's listen a little bit to that Let Me Go. All right, who needs lyrics? Because you could just do this. And love won't let me go. Because love won't let me go. That's all you need.
Love Won't Let Me Go. And the last song is by Rhine. Let's see. It says ethereal Nordic folk duo Rhine, comprised of Norwegian vocalist Cecile Hafstad and American composer-producer Christopher Bono, released their debut album in May on Silent Canvas Records. The record release was accompanied by a stunning video for the soaring, expansive track Elsker, which is the Norwegian word for love. You know, lately, gosh, for the past couple weeks, my lovely lady friend and I really scraping the bottom of the barrel of what we can watch on BritBox, Acorn TV, and PBS Masterpiece on Amazon Prime. We've been watching Wallander, which was Kenneth Branagh's attempt to try to do an English-speaking version of a very popular Swedish show called Wallander. So he basically does everything except speak Swedish, and it's all filmed in Sweden. Everybody is supposedly speaking Swedish, but they're speaking English. And but all the writing's in Swedish. So it is a very odd show. It's very different because, well, it was done in the 2000s, in the O's. I think it wrapped up by the 10s. But it is so dark, and it really reminds me of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and the girl that kicked the hornet's nest and all that. It is just so depressing, though. And I know anything Swedish is going to be depressing at some point, or it's going to lean that way because of the weather. This is what I was told by Swedish artists that I've known. It can get dark up there. Unless you're, what was that weird thing? Unless you're Roxette, I guess. Roxette was Swedish, weren't they? They weren't really depressing. Okay, I stand corrected. I am corrected now because I was very incorrect before, and now I'm correct. Here we go. Back on the story of this. Wallander is really starting to upset my lovely lady friend and I. We're now, it's only 4 seasons. That's what I'm getting confused with. Because in America, we call it a season. Season 1, Season 2. In England, that same thing is called a series. So for us, a series is the whole show. It's okay. It's a series. It's a whole, Seinfeld series. And that includes every single episode of Seinfeld. It's a series. Well, anyway, Café Anyway, Wallander by the 3rd season is so annoying because he's always down, he's always depressed, he always eats terrible, he always sleeps in a chair, he always destroys every relationship he's in, he nearly gets his daughter killed like every single week, and gets other people he works with killed. So anyway, Café Anyway, we're almost done though. We're doing that binge watching thing, and we got 4 episodes to go. And we're going to do it. We're going to finish it, hopefully. So here is Rhine and a little bit of a song that they have called... wait. Today the group also shared the official video for Sa Stilly. The self-titled debut album includes other stuff like Raw, Rising Sun, Jeg Horror Dig, and Calm Here. Okay, but this one is called Sa Stilly. Yeah. That could be very well be Norwegian. I agree. Okay. And we can only play a little bit of it because otherwise we get dinged by YouTube. But which one of those did you like better? Billy ZZ? Did you like the Mark Bale, Noel Holler, and Elisha song Let Me Go? Or did you like Gabarine? Let me know at this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Phone for All.
And with more ways to reach me, it is a phone.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.